Hello, I'm Ryan Livergood, Executive Director of the Warren-Newport Public Library. Welcome to another edition of Library Connections. Joining me today is Meg Schmaus. Meg is our Head of Circulation at the Warren-Newport Public Library. Meg, how are you today?
I'm doing really well, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
And thanks for agreeing to do this Library Connections episode with me, Meg, because there are a lot of things we want to share with our community. And I thought we could start off by talking about how library services changed going back to March. And one of the big things for us has been since the pandemic started was how to deal with library materials, because early on we weren't sure how safe it would be to circulate materials. Could patrons get COVID by handling the material that someone had before? And that's kind of evolved. So do you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing, how we're keeping the public safe with library materials, how we're dealing with them?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we know is different with library materials as opposed to other retail experiences is that, our patrons are taking materials home and then bringing them back into the library. So certainly one of our concerns was, how safe are these items in terms of recirculating them to different patrons. So in the library community, there was kind of a lack of information, and probably across fields, when COVID first kind of came on the scene. So basically, some leaders in the library industry, I think it's the Institute for Museum and Library Services, along with OCLC, big industry leaders in the library world, along with Battelle Labs, they started this study. And basically what they were looking at was just trying to get some information to guide libraries so we can make better decisions. To that end, they were testing how long the virus lasted on different types of materials. So say like hardback books, plastic covers, paperback books, plastic boxes, we could go on. So with that information they've been coming out with as they're testing these items, we were learning how long the virus can last on certain materials. And we've been using that to guide us in the evolution of our quarantine processing. Early on, we were starting with 3 days. We learned some materials the virus could last longer on. So we upped that to a few more days. Ultimately, what we've learned as this virus has kind of continued is that, there are other factors at play. So while the virus might be on materials, it's not necessarily as contagious or I guess transmitted in that way. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, right. And I think most of the viewers know, they've been following this too. Early on, a lot of people were wiping down their groceries or quarantining their groceries for several days. And as the science has emerged, we've learned we don't necessarily have to be that cautious with the virus living on surfaces. We learned the same thing in the library community. So that's
that's exactly a good gist.
Yeah, exactly.
Long story short.
Yeah.
And definitely there's been a lot of scientific information coming out. While the virus may live on something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the volume that's going to get somebody sick. So to that end, the library consensus, particularly in our area, the guidance we're getting right now is 72 hours. That's what we're going with. So when items are returned, we're kind of, keeping them in a holding room for 72 hours before we get them recirculated.
Yeah, and we're very confident in the science, and we've been very cautious. And some may say we've been overly cautious. When we were quarantining things for 6-7 days, we probably were being overly conservative. But obviously when you're dealing with a pandemic and a worldwide health crisis, you want to err on the side of being safe and not sorry. So that's what we've been doing. So Meg, one of the things I wanted to talk about with the viewers of this episode is looking ahead, because one of the things that we're seeing is in Region 9, and this might be confusing to some viewers. It's a little bit confusing to me. With the Restore Illinois plan, the state of Illinois has been divided into regions to kind of monitor the spread of COVID. And we're Region 9, Lake County and McHenry County. And like most regions in Illinois, the cases continue to rise. As we're recording this, we're in the middle of Tier 1 mitigation. But if the trend continues, the Illinois Department of Public Health and Governor Pritzker have indicated that they're looking at further mitigation measures, Tier 2. So really the best way to stay on top of this for our users is if you go to our website, at the top of the website, there's steps to safely serve you. And if I click on that, you'll see that we've got our path to reopening plan, which we developed quite some time ago. And it tells you at the top, right now for phase 6 that we're in the mitigation, that we took for tier 2 was mainly on the computer service, but there's even a more comprehensive outline, I think, that you can find, and I'm just going to share that. And so looking ahead, this is kind of our tentative outline for how we're going to respond as if the state of Illinois makes us moves us into different tiers for mitigation measures. So if I scroll down, looking at tier 2, if we were to enter that, and let's hope we don't, we would most likely look at doing exclusively contactless Holtz pickup. We close the building to the public. So that's something we're looking at. We want to deliver the highest level of service possible to the community, but we want to keep the community safe, right, Meg? So
yeah, absolutely.
So can you talk a little bit about contactless Holtz pickup? Because it's something that patrons can do now. If patrons aren't comfortable coming into the library, there's other way people can get library materials, right?
Yeah, there definitely is. So every morning that we're open, so that's Monday through Saturday from 9 o'clock to 10 a.m., we're offering contactless Holtz pickup. And basically what you do is you give us a call at the library. We do have a separate number for the Holtz pickup. That's 847-775-7058. And that goes directly to our Holtz pickup staff. And what they're doing is they're gathering up requested items that patrons have been notified are ready to be picked up. We check them out, we put them in a bag for you, and then we set those items right outside our front doors so they can be picked up. I guess I skipped a step there. Basically, what we have folks do is give us a call when they get their notification and they schedule an appointment. We have 15-minute time blocks that we do, and that just helps us kind of control the flow. So you know that when you come to pick up your items, you're not going to be met with a crowd. You're going to have a pretty quick experience. You're just going to get your items right outside the door for you, and you're good to go.
That's great. Yeah, Meg, thanks for sharing how that works. And once again, there are a lot of ways you can get service from us. And if you're not comfortable coming to the library, you do have that option to do the contactless Holtz pickup. So
yeah, I'd like to say additionally, we do have a locker service. So anytime throughout the day, if you're not able to make the 9 to 10 a.m. window, you can just call us up and say, I'd like a remote locker. We have those right outside our front door, and we can put items in there for you to pick up even after we're closed. So you have 3 days, a period of 3 days to pick those items up. And that's another way, if you'd rather, keep it a contactless experience, that you can get your materials.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Meg, thanks for joining us today on this episode of Library Connections. That's all the time we have. So for our viewers, once again, check out the website, WNPL.info, for the latest information. This is an evolving situation. Once again, I'm trying to be hopeful that we won't move into tier 2, but if we do, you can go to the website and get the latest about how we're serving the community. So thanks for the time today. I'm Ryan Livergood, and this has been another episode of Library Connections. Thank you. Have a great day.